Everybody seems to be excited. Yeah, amen. Now, you know, that's a good thing after the meeting that we had, that you feel uplifted and encouraged. It was the job of our evangelists to try to build momentum and to try to get us to get up and do a little bit more for God. And I think He put us on a good trajectory. And each night trying to do the best that we can to be better, you know, than what we have been in the past. And all, you know, the thing about going up is that sometimes if you don't watch yourself, you can fall down. Now, you're going the right direction, but if you stumble and fall, it's a quick descent. And we don't want that to happen, do we? No. That's what we're going to be talking about today. We don't want that to happen. He lit a fire. Or to say this, the fire was already lit. But he did what they call stoke the fire. And that caused it to blaze hotter and hotter. And so we want to make sure that we continue in the vein that He established. And continue to have our fire to do God's will rekindled. So that's where I'm at mentally. Trying to encourage us not to falter, not to fail, not to lose what we have gained. I am a firm believer that you can lose something just as fast as you gain something. That's why many of us are broke today. And don't have much finances. Because we spend more sometimes than what we take in. But we don't want to lose our fervor and our spiritual intensity. I said before, revival is a personal thing. And each person must look inside of themselves and decide exactly where I am and where I am trying to go. So turn with me to 2 Timothy chapter 1, 5 through 10. We're going to discuss a few things from this text. Paul talking. When I call to remembrance the unfeigned love that is in thee, which dwelt first in thy grandmother Lois and thy mother Eunice, and I am persuaded that is in thee also. Wherefore, I put thee in remembrance that thou stir up the gift of God, which is in thee, by the putting on of my hands. For God hath not given us the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and a sound mind. Paul understood what Timothy would have to go through. He understood that he was a young man, and that some would look down on him because of his youthfulness, and maybe not even give him the respect that he deserved. But he said, you know, I'm not worried about you, because foundationally you are strong. Your grandmother and your mother instilled in you what God intended for you to be a servant. I just want to bring it back to your memory. I just want to stir it up in you. fear. There will be times when you may be afraid. There will be times when you will be challenged. There will be times when you will feel powerless and hopeless. But God has given you love and a sound mind. Why the sound mind? So you will know the difference between weakness, fatigue, and spirituality and strength. So you can understand. I'm telling you, we have been given the same thing. This is not a time for us to shy away, cower, or to succumb to anything that's against God. But it's time for us to live up to the expectations that God has placed in us. When you look in John, the first chapter, it said, to many that received him, he gave them power to do what? To become the sons of God. Now guess what? Before you became the son of God, you were weak and powerless. You may have been timid and afraid. But once you have embraced God through obedience, now you have this spiritual power, the same spirit of fear, the spirit of power, and the spirit of love. You now have that, and you can become God's servant. You can become God's servant. The key verse in this passage, verse number 6, where it says, stir up the gift of God is in you. Paul encouraging his son in the gospel, his son in the faith. Stir up. When I looked at this, I used to think of something that maybe began to, like a pot, that would start to separate. And sometimes before you can eat it, you have to mix it back up again. You know, that's what I was thinking. But from the scripture, that's not what it's trying to say. It's actually saying, and it actually can be interpreted, fan the flame, and that's the gift that God gave you. Fan the flame. Paul moved in this letter from Timothy's foundational faith right into encouraging him to be strong in the Lord. Because Paul understood, when you look at 1 Timothy 4:12, he understood there will be those that would despise his youthfulness. He wanted to remind Timothy to fan the flame of the spiritual gift of evangelism. And fan it into a full blaze so that he would be able to do battle with his spiritual opponents. Read 2 Timothy 4:5.
But you should keep a clear mind in every situation. Don't be afraid to suffer for the Lord.
Don't be afraid to suffer for the Lord. Now this connects right up to the spirit. He did not give you the spirit of timidity. He did not give you the spirit of fear, but of love and a sound mind. Why? Because you should not be afraid to what? Suffer for the Lord. Now, us revived individuals, we're going to do some suffering one day. Maybe we're suffering right now. We're going to suffer for the Lord. So don't be afraid of something for the Lord.
Work at bringing others to Christ.
That's what we're supposed to be doing. That's what Timothy's supposed to do. Don't shirk or shy away from working for God. Work at bringing others to Christ.
Complete the ministry God has given you.
Oh, complete the ministry. So this Greek phrase, fanning the flame, a compound word, one part meaning again and up, and the other meaning to kindle of fire. So it becomes a possible preposition in the fact that you want to bring the fire back to full force again. Hence the idea of rekindling and kindling afresh the fire. Anybody have a fireplace? So you light the fireplace. And it gets going and it's going real good. After a while, the fire does what? Kind of tries to die out. Now, when you put on some fresh wood, it doesn't automatically ignite. So sometimes you got to take what they call a bellows. And the bellows does what? Fan the flame, blows the oxygen that helps ignite the timber. And that you can rekindle that fire. That's all that Paul is telling Timothy. You need to fan the flames and rekindle the fire. You need to be careful to protect your faith. We need to kindle it. Keep it in full flame. Fan it. Stir it up. I say this because there is an entity that does not want us to be spiritually successful. He wants to extinguish the flame of faith and commitment that we are endeavoring to create in our lives. I want to encourage you this morning that while on the journey of revival and spiritual growth, don't let anything, don't let anyone, don't let circumstances discourage you from being on fire for God. And that's the lesson we're going to go to the next slide. Satan has a desire to extinguish your fire. Desire to extinguish your will to do God's doing or bidding. Don't let him take it from you. Don't let him take it from you. I remember a song that we sang when we were children. And it was a song that went like this: this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine all over the La Puente area. I'm gonna let it shine. I'm not gonna let the devil push it out, but I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. Always telling the children, don't let Satan take away what God has placed in your heart. Don't let him get it and blow it out, but he will. He will try to discourage you. Last week when we were going up on this high, sometimes Satan steps in to try to discourage you from being the best that you can be. Don't let Satan extinguish your fire. You know, when I think about fire, we usually think of a state, a process, or instance of combustion in which fuel or material is ignited, combined with oxygen gives off heat and a flame. But there are different other verbs. Discharge or fire a gun. And that has to do with launching, shooting, and hurling or throwing. Dismissing a person. Now, some of you people who are in charge have had to fire somebody. People like me have been on the other end and have been released with extreme prejudice. And I had to put something in my document and my personal file to rebut what happened. But we know what I'm talking about. Being fired, dismissed, discharged. Then there's those that are supply or stoke a furnace or engine or boiler, power station, charge and fire up, supply with fuel. And finally there's the one that stimulates or excites the imagination and emotion. Fired up. He fired up my spirituality, stimulated, stirred up, excited, enlivened, awakened, aroused. And Paul wanted Timothy to stir up, stimulate, excite, enliven, awaken, and arouse to keep what he had. develop what he needed, and progress positively. You can fan a flame to provide the necessary ingredients to cause combustion. But remember, the enemy will try to use people and circumstances, situations to stomp out, put out, or steal your fire or your enthusiasm. That's his job. So the first thing we need to know your enemy. My grandmother used to say to watch your friends and your enemies do you no harm. And I never quite understood that statement. I said, well, shouldn't you watch your enemies? Because your friends won't do you no harm? But as I grew up, I began to understand, you're not going to let an enemy get that close. So he's going to always be watched. It's the friends get up close to you that can hurt you. So I began to understand what she was saying. But we need to know our enemy. Know him, Satan. Know his passion. Know his purpose. In 1 Peter 5:8, Brother Sterling.
Be sober.
Be sober.
Be vigilant.
Vigilant.
Because your adversary, the devil,
Know your adversary, the devil,
is as a roaring lion.
You underestimate. Satan's not in every corner. Satan is everywhere. Yeah, he's not in every corner, but that's in case we just walk down the middle of the room. He's everywhere. Know your adversary. He is as a roaring lion.
Walking about. Seeking whom he may devour. He has passion. He has purpose. And he has a job to do. And he's not going to take a day off. No, we go on vacation, we take a little day off, and sometimes we don't go to church, sometimes we do other things, but we're vacating. Satan don't take a day off. Satan is sly. He's cunning and crafty. When he came onto the record of time, he had a purpose and an ambition. When you first hear it recorded, Genesis 3:1, it talks about Satan. What about Satan? The serpent was the shrewdest of all the wild animals the Lord God had made.
Don't think he's a tamed and gentle beast that's out there at the petting zoo. No, he's not. He's not even at the kennel or at the where do you go get pets and stuff? Pet store. No, he's not there. He is a wild animal. Shrewdest of all of them. The Lord had made him. Now you say to yourself, oh Lord, why would he make Satan? Why did he make you? That's the only point out there. I'm not trying to say you Satan anything, but why did he make you? There's a purpose for every person here. And there's a purpose for Satan as well. Satan operates with a dedication to duty, unparalleled in the workforce. And he's always trying to do his will. Job chapter 1, what's it say?
One day the members of the heavenly court came to present themselves before the Lord. And the accuser.
Now at that day you had members of the heavenly court coming to stand to present themselves before the Lord. I guess they were invited, but they knew where they were supposed to be. But this non-invite showed up anyway. So Satan don't care about an invitation. He's going to bust right on in. He's a party crasher of all party crashing. He's the one that comes in, steals all the food, and then throws everything up, causes chaos, and walks out. You never seen one of them characters? Yes, sir. He didn't even get invited to it. Keep reading.
An accuser, Satan, came with them.
Came with them. Keep reading.
Where have you come from? The Lord asked Satan.
The Lord asked him, where have you come from? He didn't say, I just got in from Tahiti. I just got in from the Bahamas. I just flew in from London. He didn't say that. Because he's always on the job. Where have you been? What did he say? Even you at the revival, he's watching. You think you're going to be revived. I'm working on that plan right now. He knows exactly what buttons to push to mess up your spiritual revival. Yeah, he's not a fool, because that's what his job is. He's out there patrolling the earth, watching everything that's going on. You know, Satan, he's not limited on who he attacks. He knows. He doesn't care who you are. He doesn't care your status in the church or out of the church. In Luke 22, 30-32, here we find that the 12 tribes, here we find that Jesus sitting down with the kingdom. Here were the 12 tribes of Israel, and the Lord said to Simon, what did he say?
Behold, Satan hath desired to have you, that he may sift you as wheat.
He didn't care that he was an apostle. He didn't care that he was walking with Jesus. He didn't care that he had some first-hand knowledge and an eyewitness or anything else. I have desired to have you and sift you as wheat. But Jesus said, I prayed for thee, that your faith fail not. And I think about that. If he would try to get to Simon, man of God that was hand-picked by Jesus, and what about you? I don't know if he had to work that hard. Even me. Everybody. Everything is on the table for his attacks. And we, if we don't watch ourselves, are going to fall right into his trap. Because you know what? When you cannot control your sinning, then you fall into the trap of Satan. Habitual sinning is a byproduct of yielding to Satan. When you can't stop sinning, in one way or another, when you can't stop, Satan got you somewhere. 1 John 3:9.
But when people keep on sinning, it shows that they belong to the devil.
You don't have to say anything. You don't have to say, you don't have to try to defend or anything else. It's an observation. If you can't stop sinning, then you already have yielded or belong to Satan. Why is it that? Why is it that? Because Satan has a long history of sinning. From the very beginning. Said he's been sinning from the day that he came onto the record in the Old Testament. He's been sinning, lying, and cheating, and doing all manner of evil. But, read.
The Son of God came to destroy the works of the devil.
Jesus Christ came with the very intent to destroy Satan. To destroy Satan and his power and his influence. Prolonged sinning is just a demonstration of the devotion to Satan. Satan's been sinning for a long time, but Jesus came to do battle with Satan. As we continue on with our lesson, several things that will extinguish your fire. First thing I want to talk about is the negative Christians. Fleshly, worldly, negative Christians will extinguish your fire. When you start talking to folk in the church that don't care and they are negative, see you, brother, they are negative. It's like crossing a battery's polarization. I don't know if you ever did that. You know, when you have a battery and you have a positive and a negative. Now you may be a positive Christian, but you're fooling around with a negative entity or a person in the church. So when you touch
the cables together, you get a what? A spark. If you hold it together, it almost becomes like a soldering thing. And it can shock you. When you hang out with negative Christians and listen to their berating of church programs, funds, and everything else that's going on, then it cross-circuits you and causes you to be inadequate and can't function spiritually. Folks that always see the negative side of things. They always see obstacles. They don't see opportunities. The 12 spies, there were 10 fleshly that tried to put out the fire on the other 2. Came back with a negative report. Even though, if you go back and read the text, they were hauling some of the largest boughs of grapes that was ever found over there from Canaan. But yet at the same time, they were talking weak. And they were talking failure. Talking gloom. Talking slanderous. Because they did not believe God and what God had promised them. Only Joshua and Caleb. Standing against those individuals. And guess what? People tend to only listen to a crowd. Even if you're the voice of reason in the crowd, they're not going to listen to you. They're not going to listen to you. And as a result, they had to wander in the wilderness 40 years. Negative people will pour cold water on your faithfulness. In the church or in the community, negativity is a hindrance and causes individuals to lose hope and desire. In 1 Timothy 4:7 it says, reject profane and unwise fables and exercise yourself toward godliness. 2 Timothy 2:16, shy away from profane and idle talk, for they will increase to more ungodliness. We're trying to be godly, not ungodly. Some folks, even in the church, you got to feed it with a long-handled spoon. Now, I'm not saying don't fool them at all, but we got to try to do something with them. We got to try to save them too. But you ought to at least have a long-handled spoon with them. Come on, brothers and sisters, you'll be all right. I'm not going to get too close to you, but come on. Because we still want you to be saved. We want you to be saved. But we understand your negative talk is dangerous. Gossiping. We don't have that problem here. Come on. The Hebrew word translated gossip in the Old Testament defined as one who reveals secrets. One who goes about as a talebearer or a scandal monger. A gossiper is a person who has privileged information about people and proceeds to reveal that information to those who have no business knowing it. Gossip is distinguished from sharing information in 2 ways. I always say this, gossip could be true. Could be true. It don't have to be lies. But the intent, gossipers often have a goal of building themselves up by making others look bad, exalting themselves as some kind of repository of knowledge. Hey, guess what I heard? Guess what I know? You know, they told me. I mean, sometimes you be looking at folks and you don't invite them, they kind of come up to you, but I just want to share something with you. For your good. For your good. Sister sitting behind you, I'm not sure about her. Just for your good, though. So, you know, we always, when you get these folks, they always interested in trying to help somebody. The best thing you can do, keep it to yourself. The gossip, they want to share information. They want to speak on faults and failings of others. Reveal potentially embarrassing or shameful details. Did you know the police came by that house? I didn't ask you for that information. Yeah, did you know this, that, and that? Yeah, sometimes you know and sometimes you don't, but you don't need to know. They never mean any harm. I don't mean no harm. I don't mean no harm. They're always trying to do some good. That's what they say. What's the Bible say in Proverbs 20:19? I gotta.
Whoever goes about slandering reveals secrets. Therefore, do not associate with the simple blather.
Okay, Proverbs 11:12-13.
It is foolish to belittle one's neighbor.
It's foolish to belittle one's neighbor.
A sensible person will keep quiet.
A sensible person. So a person got that kind of information, they're not sensible. A sensible person keeps quiet.
A gossiper goes around telling secrets.
He can't help, he or she or whatever, cannot help themselves. Telling secrets.
But those who are trustworthy can keep it in
Now, you need to share something with somebody, pick somebody that can keep their mouth shut. You want to share something with somebody? Talk to somebody and keep their mouth shut. If you know they're a leaky faucet, you have no business going up to them saying, don't tell nobody. Because you know as soon as you say that, their ears pick up and they're already figuring out who I can tell. Don't tell nobody. But I'm trying to do something. As soon as you get away, your body warmth is still there in their presence. They're trying to share it with somebody. Woo, woo. You know. And I have this philosophy. This is my philosophy. Everybody who tells something to is going to tell at least one person. And that person that he tells it to is going to tell at least one person. And that person he told it to is going to tell one person. So eventually it's going to be around the whole church anyway. Each person telling just one person. So if you can help it, don't tell nobody anything. Just tell God. Just tell God. All right. Don't let anyone stop out your fire. I'm going to go that. I think that's going to be our last slide for today. The challenges of life will put out your fire. You cannot run from challenges. You have to meet them head on. You cannot allow them to defeat you. Jesus says in John 16:13, these things I've spoken unto you, that in me you might have peace. Remember this, and you can underscore this. In the world, you shall have tribulation. Yes, you will. But be of good cheer, because I have what? Overcome the world. I've overcome the world. The Amplified Version says, I've taken away from the world the power to harm you. The world can't harm you if you have Jesus. So idleness, procrastination, and laziness will put out your fire. Idleness is doing nothing at all. Procrastination is leaving it for tomorrow. Laziness is saying I'm too tired. I don't feel good right now. I don't have any time or any other excuse. In Proverbs 18:9 it says, he who is what? Idle or lazy in his work is a brother to him who is a great destroyer. You gotta watch folks who don't have anything to do, or they don't think they have anything to do, or they're not doing anything, because they are more destructive than they think. Proverbs 18:9, what does it say?
A lazy person is as bad as someone who destroys things.
That's the NLT. Yeah, it's bad. It's just as bad as somebody who's going out and doing bad things is a lazy person.
Amen.
1 Timothy 5:13.
And if they are on the list, they will learn to be lazy and will spend their time gossiping from house to house, meddling in other people's business, and talking about things they shouldn't.
You better read that again. We're going to read that again. We're going to stop. 1 Timothy 5:13.
And if they are on the list,
I don't know what this list. I gotta do some research on that. On the list, because some of y'all on the list. They're on the list. I might be on the list. I better watch that list. And who's taking that list? Who's compiling that list? I better watch it. If you're on the list,
they will learn to be lazy.
you know, this is a lazy learning list. A disability list. A lazy learning disabled list. Whoever's on this list gonna learn to be lazy. But you know, I can't be deep because I've always understood how to be lazy. I don't need to learn to be lazy. He said, read.
And will spend their time gossiping from house to house.
Yeah. They'll spend their time gossiping from house to house. Read.
Meddling in other people's business.
Meddling in other people's business.
And talking about things they shouldn't.
My God, my Lord, my God, there's folks who need to be doing God's will.
Yes, sir.
Quit fooling around doing other things that they should. My Lord, my God, that's enough for today. We'll finish the rest next week, and I'm not finished with this. Let me tell you something. Don't let Satan or anybody take away your passion, your drive, your revival spirit. Don't let them put it out. Preserve it and keep on moving in the right direction. God loves you. God loves you. If you're a member of the church and you haven't been living right, we understand that you cannot go to heaven and you cannot continue to proceed while sinning in your life. If you keep on sinning, you're just a part of the devil and his work. You let it go. Luke 13:3 and 5, Acts 17 and 30. At the time of this ignorance, God winked at, but now command all men everywhere to repent. Repent and ask somebody to pray for you. Ask a righteous person to pray for you in James 5:16, because it availeth much. And then go on if you're not a member at all. And you first of all got to be a member of the church. What the church? The church you read about in the New Testament. Yes. Whose church? Christ's church. Matthew 16:18. He said, I will build my church, and the gates of hell shall not prevail against it. My church, I'm going to do that because I came with a purpose. And I came to save humanity. In order to save them, they need to be in a safe place. That safe place is the church. Yeah. And we preach about the church and the kingdom. And that's what we're trying to get people to get into. You hear the word of God. Romans 10:17. Confess that Jesus Christ is the Son of God. Be willing to repent of your sins, and then be willing to be baptized. Yeah. Yes, baptized. 1 Peter 3:20 and 21, because it saves you. Because it's a burial. It's just like being buried with Christ and raised. Romans, I believe, 6:3 and 4. And also, it was the answer to the greatest question ever posed at the day of Pentecost. Yeah. Acts 2:37. Men and brethren, what shall we do? Repent. Verse 38, and be baptized, every one of you, in the name of Jesus Christ, for the remission of your sins, and ye shall receive the gift of the Holy Spirit. Amen. That's the lesson. Don't let anybody stop you from being revived. Don't let any person, don't let Satan stop you. Revival is personal. Don't let anybody take it from you. We got a song? Yeah. Let's sing it. Right now together, we stand and sing.